3 years on from its return to Chevrolet's lineup, the Trailblazer enters 2024 with some updated styling and some improved technology, and a few other tweaks as well. Where does it fit into a much more competitive subcompact SUV class? Let's find out. The Trailblazer is one of 2 subcompact SUVs from Chevrolet, along with the significantly updated Trax. When the Trailblazer debuted as a 2021 model, we pitted an RS version against the Mazda CX-30, Subaru Crosstrek, and the then-new Kia Seltos in a 4-vehicle comparison test. Even though the Trailblazer was all new, it still finished in last place. When we recently retested the subcompact SUV class with 6 vehicles in 2023, instead of the Trailblazer, we chose the all-new 2024 Chevrolet Trax, which managed a respectable 3rd place finish overall and tied for first in our value scoring. For 2024, the Trailblazer gets revised front styling, better interior technology, and a few other changes. We tested a 2024 Trailblazer RS, which has all-wheel drive, and the optional, more powerful 155 horsepower, turbocharged 1.3-liter 3-cylinder engine. With almost $4,700 in options, our test vehicle had a sticker price of $34,670, including destination. Let's start inside the Trailblazer, which is an interesting mix of good and not so good. But let's start with the good. The Trailblazer has a traditional upright SUV shape that gives occupants a decent amount of interior space considering how small the SUV is overall. While it only has 13.5 cubic feet of cargo space by our own measurements, which trails a number of competitors, it does have useful features like a standard fold-flat front passenger seat, which adds utility and makes it easier to transport long items, and there are also lots of bins and cubbies throughout the cabin that make small item storage easy. The Trailblazer also offers an available hands-free power liftgate, which is an uncommon but very welcome feature in this class. The interior's star feature, however, is the newly standard 11-inch touchscreen infotainment display. It includes standard wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it looks great and is very intuitive to use. Honestly, it looks and feels like something in a much more expensive vehicle. Unfortunately, for all the attention paid to technology in the Trailblazer, it seems very little care went into its interior materials. While they're stylishly shaped, the materials themselves feel cheap and low rent, and quality dips even further in the back seat. It looks and feels very similar to the interior of the Trax Active we drove in our comparison test, which wouldn't be concerning if this Trailblazer weren't roughly $8,000 more expensive than that Trax. Of the 2 cockpits, I slightly prefer the Trax, which has a more driver-oriented screen position. But there are some nice touches in the Trailblazer RS, like its flat-bottom steering wheel and the red accents on the dashboard and seats. It's not that the Trailblazer's interior is bad, it's that it's disappointing. In a lower-priced vehicle, it might actually seem pretty nice, but with an as-tested price of more than $34,000, higher than a loaded Kia Seltos SX Turbo, which features a near-premium interior in terms of quality materials, the Trailblazer RS just disappoints. In most subcompact SUVs, the driving experience is understandably secondary. Driving refinement and performance cost money, making an affordable SUV less, well, affordable. The Trailblazer is no exception to this, even with its optional, more powerful turbocharged engine. The 1.3 up a whopping 1/10 of a liter from the base 1.2-liter turbo 3-cylinder, makes 155 horsepower and 174 pounds-feet of torque, but it doesn't really feel much quicker or sportier than the Trax, which gets 137 horsepower and 162 pounds-feet of torque from its 1.2-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder. The Trailblazer is peppy enough around town, but it runs out of power on the highway, and its available 9-speed automatic transmission has a hard time finding the right gear. It can take a significant amount of time to kick down when you want more power too. The powertrain is also just generally noisy and kind of unrefined. The addition of all-wheel drive, which is something the Trax does not offer, didn't actually feel like it improved the Trailblazer's handling or driving characteristics meaningfully. For 2024, the Trailblazer RS gets larger 19-inch wheels wrapped in lower profile tires, and to my surprise, this didn't really seem to negatively affect ride quality. The Trailblazer RS is definitely a bit of a firm ride, but again, this is an affordable SUV and suspension refinement and things like adaptive damping would cost money. The Trailblazer's short wheelbase also doesn't help matters, as each set of wheels hits bumps in quick succession, and the ride overall is somewhat busy. All-wheel drive versions of the Trailblazer earn an EPA rating of 27 mpg combined, which is disappointing given that there's no worthwhile performance benefit. The turbocharged Kia Seltos, which did win that most recent subcompact SUV test, does have slightly worse fuel economy ratings, at 26 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive, but is far more engaging to drive. If you want a more comfortable ride, the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek is rated at 29 miles per gallon with its base engine and is far cushier on and honestly off-road. And if you're really prioritizing fuel efficiency, the Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid, rated at 42 miles per gallon combined, is a great pick. The problem with the Trailblazer RS, as tested, isn't that it's especially bad at any one thing, it's that it's very expensive for what it is. It's pricier than the loaded Kia Seltos SX Turbo that won that comparison test, and tied for first in value. And for my money, the Seltos is a better all-around vehicle. And an even bigger problem for the Trailblazer is that the Trax exists. While it doesn't come with all-wheel drive, it's as good as the Trailblazer in most respects, if a little less roomy and utilitarian. A loaded Trax is also thousands of dollars cheaper than a loaded Trailblazer. Unless you need all-wheel drive, the Trax is just a better choice. The Trailblazer RS is a competent small SUV with excellent technology, but it's undone by its price and in and out of house competition. If you can get one at a discount, it's worth your consideration, but at full price, there are definitely better options. You can find my full review of the 2024 Chevrolet Trailblazer RS and all the latest news at Cars.com.